Hey everybody, Edo here, and I am delighted to show you an overview of how to play the 100 Torii Diverging Paths. Let's jump into it. Here we have the 100 Torii and the 100 Torii Diverging Paths expansion. Now this is a expansion, it's not a standalone game, so you do need to have and know how to play the 100 Torii. In this game overview, I'm not going to go through how to play the 100 Torii, but I will link a Watch It Played. That's a fantastic overview of how to play that game, and there are many other sites that have done it as well. One of the cool things that we've done is with the 100 Torii Diverging Paths, the original title was quite a full box. This is as well, but one of the things you'll see as I open here, we have the rules, obviously, a little guide for punching because it will come with punch board, but in particular, each of the different locations that you can use within the game is all kept within its own box with the components that are inside also listed on the back. We then have the additional helpers or characters within the game, which I'll talk about, and some setup pieces. So all of it is easy to say, hey, we're going to use this one, or we're going to use this one. Both of them, bring them into the game. Hey, we want to use the gambler. It's really set up to be fast and easy to play and combined with the base game. So I'm going to give a setup overview, go through each location, talk about the two new characters, and I think that'll be a good overview of the game. Let's talk about the basic setup no matter what location you're going to use, and you can use 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'll go over that, but it will start with the starting tile. This is from the base game, and before play begins, you'll be building out a path to the location. So you got to pick a location first. Let's work with the Fushimi Inari Shrine. Open it up, you'll empty out the box. And you'll notice inside there's also a solo board for when playing with Unatsu. You put that back, we won't be using that, and then you can keep this or put it aside. We'll just put it aside, we're not going to use it. And then it's going to have a location board, and then you'll have whatever's in there. So this one happens to have a bunch of tokens, but other might have cards or other different elements. So we'll set these aside. The next thing you're going to do when you have all your components out is you're going to take these tiles. Now there's 4 yellow and 4 blue. With one location you use one or the other. I'll just take the blue. And you are going to flip them, or you're just going to start drawing them, but just so you can see, and start connecting these yellow arrows to the starting tile. So we go there, and then we just keep connecting the yellow arrows. Da, 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 and that. So once you've done that, you then take the location and you put that on the last tile you've laid out. And I'll move this down a little bit. So that is the setup. If I'd used any of the other locations, it would have been the same, but maybe a little different configuration. I could have used the yellow, and then I have the different items from the box for the location. In addition, as you are through play, you'll be placing tiles in the normal way you do in the normal game, but how they relate and as you move around these locations, different things happen. I'll talk about that when I talk about each specific location. But basically, you're going to be playing tiles, and as you make paths from landmark to landmark, like in the base game, you'll be leveraging it. That's how you add a location. If you want to use the different characters, which I'll talk about, you can do it with these locations or just with the base game, but let me just slide this away. All you would need to do is you add the respective character. We have the Gambler and the Pilgrim to the game. They each have the achievement tokens that you should be familiar with. The Pilgrim comes with the Lonely Paths, and the Gambler comes with a die. Other neat little thing is, if you recall, we have these boards in the original game. They were in 4 languages that everyone got, but if you follow along, it's fine. This is the English. We actually have equivalent tiles here with the new characters, and they should slot right in, right? So you just put that down, and now you have your additional characters. Whether or not you use 2 of them, you can do it. But so that's how you would add these into the game. Again, if you just want to start with the characters, you want to go to the locations, you want to mix and match. Oh, also, sorry, if you want to use more shrines, what you're going to do is you're going to, in the manual, the rule book, there is a section that talks about how to extend it further, how to add the rest of those shrines into the mix from 2, 3, or 4, and so you'll do that as you're expanding it out. So that will use the other set. We had the blue one out, I pushed them off, you'll use the yellow. So if you want to we suggest starting with 1. We suggest starting with actually the Fushimi Inari Shrine, which I'll go through when we talk about the specific locations, but this is a good page that will show you how to add the rest in. And then if we were doing solo, there's a Natsu setup. I'm not doing that here, but there's a page that goes through that. Let's move on to the specific locations. Let's talk about the Fushimi Inari Shrine. I've set it all up. There's the box, obviously. This is the Onatsu Solo board, which we won't be using. Then the small Fushimi Inari tokens, large, and I've done the setup here with the, let's not use this tile yet, with the blue, setting it up. Now, as I mentioned in the game, as a player, it's my turn. I've got 2 tiles. Let's say I place a tile here. And so this is how you normally use a location. You're going to draw your path between the 2 matching landmarks like you normally would, and any tile that your path goes on, even if it starts on it, that touches one of these entrances to the location, scores you or triggers that location. Okay, so Fushimi Inari is the easiest. When you do the path, so we go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you get 1, also known as Inari, but Fox token 1, Inari token here. Then we go through 2 of those gates, so we get 2 more. So that's what I would normally get. However, I've now had 2 tiles that are touching this. So in those cases, I will get 2 of these tokens. So that is how this works. As you're moving back and forth and expanding around, people are just going to be earning these tokens. Well, what do these tokens do? Well, these are considered wild tokens. So these can be used as any other token. So in this case, I could trade these in for the 5-point token here. Now, normally, if you have 5, you must. But since these are wild, it's your choice. They don't exist as foxes until you call it that way, right? Or as Inaris, you call it that way. So you wouldn't be forced to do that, but you could. However, the moment, the moment you have 5 of these, you must trade them in for this 5-point token. Just like a normal token works. Get 5 more. You turn it into 10. These function for achieving as well. So if we were looking for this and we had that, we had this, and I don't know, we had this one as well. At 10, I could score this achievement token. So very simple. Every time you travel around, you are going to get one of these tokens. They act as wild tokens that can be used for anything else in the game as another token type, or you build them up for points. Final scoring is just you get to add points for these along with everything else you've done. Quick note, you can't actually travel through the locations. You can't do like routes through, intersecting, whatever. You go around it as you go. So this is the Fushimi Inari Shrine, and actually everything's color-coded in the rule book, so this is all laid out in that section. Here we have the Kitano Shrine. I've taken everything out like last time. This is Onatsu's board for solo, and Onatsu will get these Netsuke discs. And then we have 4 different colors of the Netsuke discs and the Kitano Shrine token here. Each player will receive one of these. There aren't colors in this game, so just each player picks a different one and remembers the color, and you'll pass it all around. So what is going to happen is, like all locations, when you place a tile, you then draw a line between normally 2 landmarks. So in this case, that's the 3 Inari tokens. However, for each corner you were adjacent to, so this one orthogonally adjacent, so these in this case would be this one and this one, you may make an offering. If no one is there, you can make an offering with as little as 1. So you're going to take one of your tokens and put it in play to make that offering. You can, if you happen to be on both, do it with 2. Simple, you're using those tokens. Play progresses. If another player would like that same spot, like, I'm not really doing the other bits, but let's say somebody had placed here, this didn't do anything, and then they placed this one and scored whatever. This now allows them to make an offering there. They can one-up you, so to speak. They can improve the offering by increasing by 1. So this was 1, it was 2. I could do more if I wanted to be aggressive, but I don't have to. And I put my token down. Now this, the token and the offering goes back to that player. And the game continues as we work our way around, increasing offering, swapping people out. At the end, the player with the most of an offering at each location is going to get 5 points, and the players with the most total will get another 5 points. So there's actually 5 here. So 4 and then 1 more for that player with the most. If there's a tie, no one will get the bonus 1. Interesting play as you are bidding and pushing people out as you make your offerings. So this is the Kitano Shrine, and again, color-coded section in the rulebook covering all of that. Here I have set up the Nonomiya Shrine. In this case, you have Onatsu's board like always for solo, and then actually just this deck of cards, which we'll talk about, and we put the board out like normal. Also, like normal with all locations, on your turn you place a tile. You're going to score what the tile does normally, landmark to landmark. This would be the 3 Inari tokens, and then you are going to trigger the effect of the location for each tile that was on your path that is orthogonally adjacent to it. In this case, when you do that, you're going to draw a card. So in this case, I draw 1 card, and I would draw 2 cards. So each of these cards are, I'm going to just show you some of them. Each of these cards are going to be personal goal objectives. You may not score it the turn you get it, but then you can score it any subsequent turn, and you can score more than 1 on that turn. However, if there's a duplicate of the same one, you can't score it in the same turn, but you can score it in a subsequent turn. So basically, in this case, this is on your turn, get 8 or more total tokens in 1 turn. You can get 3 bonus points. This one is score a path that is 4 or more tiles that doesn't go through either, it doesn't have either of the gates. Get 3 points. This one is score a turn where if you have 3 different tokens. Here for playing a tile that is orthogonally adjacent to the samurai. So again, first you have to get the card. By passing, you can get 1 or 2 depending on how long you go around, and then on subsequent turns you have to actually achieve it. At the end, you're going to get points for all the ones you completed. Any that you didn't, you don't get points for. Like all of the other locations, we have the color-coded section in the rules, and this one contains description of all the cards. At the bottom of the cards, there is a Onatsu specific detail. You wouldn't use that in the main game. Here we have the shrines at the Toji Temple. With this location, there's obviously the Onatsu solo board, and then actually a little more setup because you're going to lay out, these cards are in a container, but you're going to lay out the cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order, ascending or descending, however you look at it, and there's 4 in each of these piles. Over the course of play, it works like all other locations where we will place a tile, then we will get the normal 1, 2, 3 that normal tokens would get, and then for each time a tile touches the location that you went through, you are going to draw a card. And so what you do is, as a player, you're going to draw a card, and you draw them, in ascending. So you're going to start with 1, and then 2, and then if on a subsequent turn I pass by again, I can then go 3, 4, and I'm working my way up all the way up to 6. Now, you'll notice there are some things on these cards, and let's talk about them. So, the first card lets you buy, the first card lets you buy, or have a character help you, for 1 token. This one lets you use 2 characters in the same turn. This one gives you 3 of any token. This one lets you get a large scoring token for 1 less. This one's worth 5 points at the end of the game. This one's worth 6. On your turn, after you've acquired the cards on subsequent turns, you can use them. However, you need to use all of them that you have. So if I've collected just 1 and I use the just 1. But if I've collected 2, 3, I actually have to spend them all and start over. If I've gone all the way up and have moved into the 5 and the 6 category, I may still spend, but I need to score all of them. But these are only worth points at the end of the game. So if it's coming to the end of the game and there's a really amazing move, if I use all of this stuff, I have to sacrifice these two in order to do it. So it's this interesting, it's very powerful, lots of interesting stuff in the game, but a decision tree around, am I going to try to have all the cards, or am I going to be using them in different groupings? So this is the shrines at the Toji Temple. Like the other ones, we have a section on it in the rules. Here we have the two new characters, the Pilgrim and Gambler. I've actually set this up just on a normal board setup at the start of play after people have been playing for a little while that doesn't have a location from the expansion in it. Again, you can set it up with, you can play this with the expansion, but you can also just use it with the base game and add the characters. For the Pilgrim, you have the Lonely Path tiles. For the Gambler, you have the die, and then you can also add this little board to the bottom of your character reference, and it comes in all the languages that the original did. So, when you use a character, use these in the same way as you use any other character. You have to pay for them, and then you're going to get their ability as well as one of their tiles. And then it goes 2, 4, and the first one to use the same character 3 times gets the larger scoring one. So, in the case of the Pilgrim, what you're going to do is you pay 3, and then you get to draw a Lonely Path tile, and place this anywhere on the board. This does not count as using your tile, so I'm still going to get to do it on my turn, but this lets you connect very large sections of the board, and with lots of bonuses in them. But there's no landmarks within it. If you use this, though, the Pilgrim, you can also move a already placed Lonely Path. So I could move this here if I wanted to for some reason. And then you're going to play, and then you're going to score per normal on your turn. So that is the Pilgrim. Very cool. Very cool in addition to the locations in the expansion, but also in the base game. Oh, these also count as one tile in anything that's referring to a single tile. Then we have the Gambler. With the Gambler, he's cheap to use. You pay 1, and then you will roll the die, and I get a bridge, and then you can place this as a landmark, not over a landmark, but as a landmark on any location, and then take your turn. You can re-roll by paying again, but it only counts as using the character once. So you would not be able to get extra tokens for doing that. He helped you once on your turn, but you have the option if you're really going for something specific for a big score to use it. So that's the Pilgrim and the Gambler. Within the rules, there is a page that describes them and how they play here. And that's how you play Diverging Paths. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.